Good morning, everyone. Yes, I got the cam on, and today I need to do something for myself. And that is, I need to play catch up on the meta. I've done a few videos since Worlds, but most of it has been on previous metas, like examining players in Summer Split, which is like way off from where we are now. So, in order to get into this, we need to do a little like refresher. Honestly, I probably could like move it this way too, just to make this a little bit easier in the end, so we can actually look at everything the correct way. So first off, when it came to Worlds, top, jungle, mid, ADC, support. Yeah, dude, it's just a little bit. Okay, so we looked at top lane and we looked at like how all these like picks went in the end. Jax was a big thing. Cassante, Gnar, Renekton. I'm trying to think. Right, we still had Rumble. Rumble was still being picked at this time in top lane. There was some Aurora, but I mean, actually, to be fair, she was still very playable in the top lane, so that was like a thing. There was some Galio counter pick, but that was like not too common overall. And I think that pretty much sums it up. Like, no one really pushed the boundaries in top lane. Yeah, they really didn't. That's pretty much it. Okay, cool. So, and that's just all from memory, right? Jungle, we had Sejuani, we had Maokai, we had Skarner was a huge pick. Because in the end of the day, there wasn't like a lot of people weren't really choosing a ton of carries during this time. I mean, we did see more carries per se, but it's just because of how the comps were being built. I gotta cheat sheet this because like I want to say Ivern, but I don't know how much Ivern was actually played. Ban 14. Okay, so it was a decent amount. Some Nocturne, right? Because people were doing that combo at the time. I'm gonna put an asterisk because it's not like it wasn't like that prevalent. I know there was some Poppy jungle, but it was also again not too heavily picked. Nidalee was actually not bad. Nidalee was basically for the fast-paced like invade style. We did see a bit more, and I guess that was it. Yeah, that was it. I mean, I could put down as a CP like Zyra, but like that, yeah, like I said, like that was pretty much it. Mid lane. I'm trying to remember. Is this where Azir was like? I know Arya was a big pick in the end. We saw some Akali, but I'm pretty sure that was like Akali fit here. And this is also where APs had a lot going for them. Orianna. Like I want to say Syndra, but oh right, we saw Sylas being taken up a lot more too during this time. Yone, of course, I should include that. Oh yeah, Vi. Right. Yeah, people were playing a ton of Vi. Oh, you know what? And there's another thing. Xin Zhao was another pick. And then also Wukong. Diego. Actually, I may put these two here. It's probably better. Because there was Xin Zhao and there definitely was Wukong, right? Yone, Sylas. Like, I want to say Syndra, but I don't remember if there's a ton of Syndra. It seems like there was, like, no Azir. I can't remember. I think this is Azir where they nerfed his HP regen, so like he didn't really pan out too well, I believe. Ori... Triss to low. Triss like fit here. Like we saw some Triss there. We also still saw some Smolder, but it was like very uncommon. Some Nico. Yeah, Azir doesn't even fit in here. that's basically it, to be honest. Right, I should say Amumu, because Amumu was actually kind of like a prevalent thing. Ashe was a huge thing. I think we still had a lot of Ezreal, MF. I'm trying to think here. Xayah, Kaisa. Was that it? Kalista? CPs. We had Caitlyn, I know that. Some Draven. See, I thought Varus should do a lot better, but people really did not care about Varus as much, which was odd. Right. Jhin was also, well, actually, Jhin became more of a counterpick-esque champion versus others. Maybe not. Maybe I should toss him in there anyways. Jhin and yeah, Xayah was also kind of a counter pick. People weren't just like taking her just for her, unless they did a combo. So Xayah and Lucian. Okay, and then finally for support, I believe this is before Rel got nerfed. So Rel was a really big pick. Alistar, Braum, Nautilus, Leona, and then we had CPs like Lux and no Milio. Ashe was still being played a little bit. Rakan's here too. Rakan. Oh, right. I mean, we had Poppy here, but it really depends because, like, Poppy was almost like a power pick in some ways. Like, Renata also, like, definitely more of a CP. Okay. I could toss Bard in here, too, because Bard wasn't bad. And then, like, I mean, like, I guess I could put Nami, but it's whatever. All right, so, like, this is, like, the meta at Worlds, right? This was patch 14.18. Okay? So 14.18, this was the meta. Now, how does this change through the patches? And so that's like what we're gonna go through real quick, like real quick. So League of Legends patch notes. So let's just go through this real quick, just to remind ourselves. Okay, does this not have control? Whatever. I guess we're gonna do it this way. I'm just gonna control left click, but I guess that's not working. So in 14.19, this is immediately after the end of Worlds, and we're entering Split 3. So they buffed Elise, and it was like some quality of life buffs. It wasn't bad. I mean, I definitely like see Elise played a bit more. Some Cassante nerfs, you know. What was the deal with this? It was there's so much shit. There's so much stuff. Oh my god. I mean, yes, they did change how the W works a little bit. Minimum cast time is 0.4 versus 0.75, and the maximum cast time is not as long, so you can't hold it as long to screw with people. And the stun duration is based on the charge duration, so if you do a little stun, it's not that long. And yeah, you can't change the direction after casting the spell. So he was pretty fucking good at Worlds because like a lot of things going for him. And then they also increased this reduction, which is pretty awesome, right? It wasn't too bad. Like, it's not too bad because like the thing is, I still see Cassante even in today's patch, and he's doing fine. So like they did some nerfs to him. Some of them actually kind of sucked, but it still kind of kept him in, right? Triss, this is a buff, right? Yes. 1 second. Active damage, critical strike modifier, R buster, stun. Huh? Stun. Oh, does it not? Is this saying that it doesn't push them back? Because I haven't messed with Triss at all. So like I'm kind of they're supposed to blah blah blah. The R stun duration will help Tristan apply full crowd control value even when our opponents are pushed into a wall. Oh. Okay. Well, it's not bad. Like, it's definitely like some solid shit. And then with Vlad, naturally, like they tried to nerf like the healing aspect, right? And then they did some changes towards like the cost of items, which like yeah, like this was awesome. There was a whole bunch of nerfs to items overall that do suck. I mean, obviously this is not half bad for junglers just because it's cheaper. So like you're kind of like, okay, that's not bad. This like that kind of sucks. This pretty good. This like obviously these like just suck as nerfs because like you didn't get any benefit from the price going down. This like sucked big time. I mean, like Wits got like smacked for no reason. Eclipse is still good. That's why people still go Eclipse because like it was such a cheap item. It was basically our version of Warrior from like previous jungle iterations. This item got kind of butchered. Like that sucks. This item like lost 15 AD, but you gain health. Kind of sucks. Hullbreaker got like lost 25 AD. Like again, kind of blows. Yeah, it's better for like max HP, but like I said, it kind of blows. This ended up not being too bad. I mean, like, yes, losing the 15 AD sucks, but it ended up being like okay, right? Especially because you get a little bit more gold for like your buys. Maw, perfectly fine. Spear was alright. Sunder Sky, it's fine. Bork kind of sucks. I lose 1080, but not the end of the world. Death Stance going up 100 kind of sucks. This, it's still going to be built regardless because it's just such a good defensive item for, you know, what it is. Stridebreaker, you know, remove Temper. What was Temper? Dealing physical damage against you. Ooh. Ooh. That kind of fucking sucks, actually. Huh. Huh. That actually really sucks, losing that. Hydra, still pretty good. Titanic, still pretty good. I mean, yeah, obviously this kind of sucks, but still pretty good. Triforce, it's okay. Then there's some AD adjustments, right? Losing movement speed. Static Shiv, still fine. Like, up to this point. Terminus, it kind of sucks. Essence Reverse, still good. Kraken Slayer, yeah, it kind of sucks. I mean, like, this was a huge fucking nerf to Kraken Slayer. Like, because it was such a nice item because of how much damage it did. But, like, yeah, they kind of, like, stripped it, which made Static just, like, infinitely better at the time. They added Noon Quiver, and this was the non-crit one. So it still wasn't really picked up that much. And then they increased IE, which just made this worse to build into. And they adjusted, like, you know, again, made this a bit more expensive, which kind of sucks. More AP item changes, and I think the best one, from what I remember, was the... Also, this really sucks, because, like, they made this 60 AP, so it's like, Jesus Christ, like, you get, like, nothing out of it. But when you look at it, this won out hard. Like, Lichbane, if you're a Lichbane builder, this was amazing because like you gained for only 100 gold, you gained 15 AP. Yeah, you lost 10 ability haste. Yes, you lost some movement speed. You lost some spell blade ratio, but like gaining 15 AP, 150 AP, not bad at all. Felt a lot. And this is not too bad. And you get to the rest of this, and it's like, yeah, Frozen Heart, kind of not really something you look for too much. Especially because like it now only affects champions, and you lost the rock solid passive. Yeah, that just blows. And then we got like the rest of the changes, right? And overall, it didn't like really change the meta too much, I felt like, when I was playing. I mean, yeah, like there was less damage overall from what people were building, and certain items did poke out more than others, but I feel like it wasn't defining enough yet at that point. Because then we get into 1420, and you know, we're buffing like Aphelios a little bit because you know he's just having a lot of issues. We have like the beginning of more AP, especially with those nerfs that happened and the items. I guess is the one thing that really started creeping up more with the nerfs that happened is like we started seeing more AP bot laners. Ziggs was already pretty prevalent, and also I should probably put that down. Like Ziggs was a legit bot lane pick, and Ziggs creeping up more and more and more, and so like yeah, he's a good bot lane pick. Brand I remember was popping up during soloQ. Victor kind of, but that's more prevalent now. Swain again, a little bit more kind of now. Kaylin gets a little buff. Corki, this is where Corki takes over now. So now Corki is like, and you know, I'm just putting down like notables from patch notes. So one to watch out is Corki, okay? And then for ADC, it's like Ziggs, Swain, Victor, okay? So Corki was a really like evident like big buffs, right? Like minus 20 mana on Q level 1. Valkyrie does a ton of damage now. E Gatling is back. Like, because again, mana cost, right? And it's just, it was interesting. It was interesting just because, I don't know. Just like, why, like, I don't know why they wanted to bring him back all of a sudden, but they did. Mundo, did he get a buff or a nerf? I remember seeing a bunch of Mundo, but I guess it didn't really matter in the end. Jin got a fat nerf. I should really say like, really say it as like up and down, right? Because the Jin nerf is not great, and Static Shiv already got slightly nerfed, and same with his other movement speed items, which is not ideal for him because he like depends on that a lot. Sizable nerf to him. Slipstream is constant. Yeah, I remember the Pantheon change. It's again putting him more into a bruiser like the Aatrox changes, and it was okay. It didn't really matter too much. The Poppy, I know like they're trying to damage cap up to 50. Wait, 20? What? I mean, the passive nerf is kind of rough, but it's interesting. I'm just gonna put this down. Poppy. Riven. I mean, look, like nobody's playing this champion. Same with like Shyvana, though I did remember seeing Shyvana poking out more than Singe. It's not bad. Skarner, obviously they want to like kind of get rid of this champion because I mean he's just like being played all the time. Passive damage decreased, E damage decreased. I still played him and he feels pretty fucking good, so it didn't do anything. And then this is where we get more buffs to Tristana. Okay, so I'm gonna put Trist here. Tryndamere, yeah, I saw some Tryndamere pushing up. Q and Ray can damage the monsters decreased, E bonus speed decrease. I do remember Udyr being kind of a menace. Like, I'm still gonna put him here because, like, yeah, I remember seeing a bunch of Udyr and it was really annoying. Yasuo, crit damage increase, our bonus penetration increased. I mean, that kind of sucks because those champions didn't really take a massive hit. Yeah, and then so Static took even more of a hit. Collector got buffed in many ways because like they just reduced the price so much, right? And they still didn't really know what to do Yuntao, so like that hasn't changed. Okay, so that's it for that. 1421, Asol So Azir, okay, so Azir, they brought Azir back with some additional, like, I'm gonna put him down here. Because they realized, like, yeah, this maybe was not exactly what we should have done to him, so now they're readjusting it. I don't know where this puts him in the meta, but I should definitely put him down as just like a mental note, right? Brand, but we don't really see Brand too much. I think this was trying to hit on Brand bot lane. Oh, right. Right. I should have put here, Camille. Because now I remember that they did a fat nerf to Camille, which was not great. And I still haven't really seen anything on Jax. So that's pretty rough. And then the passive damage increase, W damage increase, R damage increase. Yes, and so then this is what took him over, right? So this is the patch, 1421, where Corki's now pushed over the top, way over the top, because look, he got 20% bonus 80 on his W. His R got increased, and his passive, which is massive, got increased. So, yeah. That's pretty funny. Fiddle nerf, Galio nerf. Right, also I should put Galio here, because Galio was being picked way more at this point as a counter. Well, I should say, like... No, I mean, I think it's fair to put him here, because people were actively looking for him, so I should have Galio in this list. But this is still not enough to do anything to him. Gangplank, it's not bad. Gwen, it's not bad. Hwei, is he getting a nerf? I guess I'll put it down. Hwei was not being picked too often. Irelia, it's okay. It's not really too noteworthy yet. I mean, they reduced Kaisa a little bit. I don't think it's really enough still, just because she kind of does so much damage. Cast at a nerve. Malphite, Nasus. Nasus appeared a little bit, but not enough to warrant anything. Kiana, Senna. I mean, this was good. Okay, I'm gonna put this down just because, like, for sure, that buff is good. I remember this happening, and, like, it helped a lot. And yeah, this is where, so Swain got the change, and it was a nerf. I remember this being, like, a nerf to him initially, and then I think they did some buffs to him afterwards. Little Zaya push up. Hmm. 1422. I know, guys. I know. We gotta go quick. We gotta go quick. So World Ender got a nerf. But it's not like... he wasn't really being picked too often, so there's nothing for me to know yet. And Nivea... No one plays Nivea. And the change is not noteworthy enough, because it also is a nerf. E damage increase, whatever. Who cares? Still not enough. It's not bad. It's really not bad, but, like, again, you just don't see it all, so... So they do finally take a hit to Jax 50 base and his CD, but it's not enough still. Like, I can put it down, but I'm gonna put an asterisk because it's like, it's really not that much. It's really not. Shumpo, I mean, Katarina, still, again, you don't really see it. Cassante, Q damage decreased, E speed, or E dash speed increased a considerable amount. So, I mean, like, yeah, okay, so he does, like, again, he did get some, like, adjustments that, like, kind of hurt him, but he's just such a good pick that it probably doesn't matter. Lilia takes a little nerf. But it's not notable. Dude, it's not noticeable enough. It really isn't. Maokai, nothing. Poppy. So, I think I think the most notable things I could say for Poppy for sure took a hit in support based on the changes they were doing with what's it called? With her E, and then even the base AD and her passive. Rumble, so that he gets a little buff back. Seraphine. Right. Yes, so this is where they start buffing Swain. Like, they start giving him more power. They do nerf Udyr a bunch. I just don't know if it's enough. She got a little buff. Oh, right. Right. I mean, I ban it every game. I'm just waiting for it to pop up. But Warwick top and Warwick jungle, like, becomes like a thing. Like, it's just really obnoxious to deal with overall. Wukong also gets a buff. Here. Ooh. I don't think I remember this. I mean, getting the movement speed on Youmuu's is, like, fantastic. Really good. I do remember Graves being, like, more dominating. I mean, though that's just the case of just, like, seeing him in soloQ more. The static shiv buff was, like, pretty good, if I recall. And then Yuntao was, like, good for, like, Jinx. Barrier takes a little nerf, and then that. Okay. We're very close, guys. We're very close. So Mbessa comes in, right? And then they introduce Mbessa. Absolutely broken as shit on release. I don't know where she is now, but she was really dumb. Really dumb. They do remove the movement speed on Aurora, and this is like an overall nerf to Aurora top. But for mid lane, I don't know where it puts her, because her ulti is really strong still. So again, I'm not exactly sure where it goes. Like, Azir, like, definitely getting more love. So we'll see if that's, like, representative in the meta that we're gonna see. Caitlyn, just a nerf. Yep, and then there's the Jinx buff. And so it's this. Oh no, it's a. Oh, it's not a buff. It's a nerf. 20% AD. Oof. Yeah, this is true. This was coming up a lot, like lethality, caster, Jinx. I thought it was stupid at first, because to me it's just like, this feels like an ARAM build, but it was still pumping, so I guess it works. Kha'Zix. Wow, they really nerfed this, huh? Ooh, I forgot. I was also seeing a lot of Kog'Maw AP in the bot lane. I completely forgot about this. I don't know if this puts him, like, if he's still gonna be played when I see it, but I definitely noticed seeing a bunch of Kog'Maw AP. Not so much lately, but at one point there was, like, a ton of it. Oh, right. So Rel took a fat fucking L. Like, they did a lot of changes that just aren't good for her overall. Rengar, who cares? Who cares? You know, I'll put it down, but, like, it, to me, I've played it still. It feels fine. Ooh, I forgot about this. So I'm pretty sure Smolder is better. Like, from, like, the way I felt like I've been fighting Smolder at times, I feel like he kind of pumps a little bit, which is rather obnoxious. Like, also, I think his ulti getting buffed is not cool. It does a lot of damage. It does a lot of damage, and it slows you. And it's pretty hard to avoid. TK, who cares? And then they made it even more enticing, right? Okay, now this is the patch that these guys are playing on. So this is the patch that they're playing on. Yes, like he got some nerfs, which was very expected, but he's still strong. So not going to really worry about that. And Bessa did get nerfs, but again, just has a lot in her kit. So unlikely it's going to make a huge dent. Corki, he did get a nerf to his E, but still, is it enough to really sway you away from playing Corki? Maybe not. Elise, more nerfs to her. I mean, I can put her down here, like, as an asterisk. Graves, yeah, he got a nerf because like, he's been performing. I can put a thing here, but I played against Graves, still feels perfectly fine. LeBlanc still feels fine. Master Yi, kind of interesting. Mundo, more nerfs. Poppy, adjustments. Huh. That's interesting. So it's just the level 1 Poppy damage nerf. So it continues hurting her ability to play support in top lane. Rel gets some additional buffs, but I don't know if people are really going to play it still because it's not really that crazy. Rumble got... Ooh. So Rumble got some buffs. And so this tells me that Rumble may be making a big swing forward. Okay, armor's reduced. Yeah, and then Victor got the changes, and then this is actually a buff to Victor as well in the mid lane. Yes, I know they did some changes with Warwick, which were not enough. Yumi, but I don't really know if that's really going to do anything. And that's it. Okay, guys. So it took us just like 20 minutes or so to go through that, just to make sure it's like a quick refresher. So, based on what we saw there, let's compare this to Kespa, and then let's compare this to Demacia. So for Kespa, I'm not going to look at the pick and bans, okay? Like, it's on a patch that's a little bit later. There's some changes that happen, but I just want to get a rough feeling towards what I should expect based on what Kespa did, because Kespa was happening before Demacia, I believe. So naturally, Ashe is still prevailing. Nothing has been changed. Like if you look at what like these differences here, especially in the AD list, only Jhin and Kai'Sa received some nerfs. So things like Ashe, Ezreal, MF, Kalista, like these should be more prevalent. Varus, it looks like Varus shot up. And personally, I think he was undervalued at Worlds because I think he was actually a legit pick, but people just didn't want to take him for some odd reason, which I didn't really understand. Like, he got a massive buff and then they nerfed him, but the nerf still was not enough and he was better than what he was. So for them, Ashe, Varus, and was that it? What am I missing here? Kalista, naturally, yes, that should be here. Cian Ezreal, Kai'Sa, we have some Seraphine and some MF, some Xayah, some really, really, I'm just gonna call it low tier. Like we see MF, sorry, not Ezreal. Some Ziggs, some Xayah, Kate, but like that's it. Like some Jinx. Like there wasn't really too much in the AD list. For mid lane, I'm curious. Like I need to know. This has to be in mid lane, right? It is. In fact, I probably could do it this way too, to be honest. So naturally, as you can see, what champions are at the top? It's the same fucking champions we've seen like the entire time. No change. Like Rumble got additions that just like bring them back into the fold. Jax was not nerfed enough, which was expected, and Bessa not nerfed enough, expected. Cassante, even if you nerf Cassante, the kit is too good, and the champion does what he needs to do so often, consistently, that you're just gonna take him. And a lot of players are skilled level players who suck at playing actual tanks. Because to me, Ornn is pretty, like, Ornn feels good. Ornn feels good right now. But at the end of the day, you know, like a lot of these players just don't play Ornn. And if you note, Poppy top like it's very specific in certain matchups. Like, but you could win out versus Cassante, but she received a lot of nerfs that it just made me like she just isn't worthwhile. Jungle, this will be interesting. I do note that I saw Viego a bunch in solo queue, even though they did nerfs to the kit. I guess it's just like doesn't matter enough. Like, and like I said, we're definitely gonna see Skarner, we see Nocturne, we see Sin. We get like Lee, Maokai, Nidalee, but not so much other stuff after that. No Ivern. People picked Maokai all the time in the Sejuani. So it's actually kind of interesting that no one banned it. Or no one is like just taking it into it. Interesting. Naturally, with the buffs, as you would expect, Azir is there, right? He's back. Of course he's back. Aurora. Look, I remember multiple times she got some nerfs during the split, during the summer split, and I thought, this is not great for her. And there's certain matchups that are not fun for her anyways. And I thought, okay, maybe this will do it. It never did. And so at this point, I just have to accept that her ulti, despite the nerfs and everything to her ulti and whatever, it's just so strong that she's just always gonna be a thing. Like, unless like they really gut her, she's just gonna be a thing. So yeah, she's there. Yone's here naturally, as you see. Corki's here. It's kind of interesting to see Talia on the rise. Yeah, Ari, low tier. Again, we still have the Galio. Mbessa coming out through a little bit is interesting. We have some Swain, but there's really nothing else outside of that. So there's no really buffs to LeBlanc. Galio was untouched, so I'm not surprised to see him up here. Okay. And in support, oops. What did you support? Oh, right. I should put that down. There was a bit of Corki being played in the bot lane. That is true. There was a bit of Corki. So Nautilus, hello, Braum, Leona, and, you know, keep in mind, Nautilus was not exactly happy playing into Rel, especially because her Q just strips your shield. Yeah, because, like, the second if he Qs in, you just stun him, and it's not great. It's really not great. So, with Nautilus, I guess, being the prevalent pick with Rel out of the picture, this leads to either him being banned, or you're picking Renata into him. It's interesting to see that Poppy, because I probably should put Poppy just like straight up in here still. Her shit is still like pretty like important. I mean, Rel did get picked, did have above 50% win rate, which, yeah, that's pretty interesting. Like, that's actually pretty interesting that they still value the Rel. I mean, the Rel does have the combo, which, yeah, is great. I wonder if that's through, like, multiple bans in the end. But I guess she did get through. So that's Kespa. Okay? So that's Kespa Cup. Now, for Demacia, they don't have a, like, easy filtered, like, pick and ban for me to look at. So it's not going to be pretty. Okay? It won't be pretty. Regardless, we got to get into it. So, and so, like, the one thing I'm going to say right now, there are some changes, like I said, like Azir being back in the fold, Corki being back in the fold. So, like, okay, great, back on the Azir Corki train. Wahoo. Okay, we have these really strong scaling team fighting picks. So now we're going to sub in, like, again, keep in this, like, similar junglers who support this kind of play, instead of having just like the, like, I'm gonna slam like a carry jungler per se, right? In the bot lane, it doesn't really look much different. Like, there was some changes. No one really looked for the AP bot lanes. That's kind of expected in the end. I definitely see it in solo queue though. Support, just like some of the priorities just really changed. That's about it. It's not really like really any champion changes. And for top lane, it's just like the addition of a few other picks. And that's it. So let's see. We have Skarner, Kalista, Azir, Nocturne, Viego, Akali. Ashe first pick with an Aurora return into a Vi. Did they have Vi? Yeah, they still had Vi up there. Rumble, Corki. So they slammed 2 power picks. So they got, like, essentially what I'm looking at from WE is, like, they have, like, a lot of power picks. Straight up from the beginning. A ton of power picks. Sejuani, Galio, Talia, Braum into a Renata for the Varus. So they banned mids when they're playing Corki, but you don't really care about playing against Galio as Corki. Like, you're really happy with that matchup, and you also don't really care about Talia. Huh. Okay, so they threw away their 4-5 bans for some odd reason, and then they took Maokai with a Seraphine, but I feel like this comp just, like, looks fucking weird. I mean, it's like your classic, you press R, you run at them, and you try to win out, but the enemy team got Mbessa, which is just, like, a ridiculous pick, right? And if you don't play it, like, if you don't play well versus it, it will trash your team. So I'm going to assume their top laner just kind of went off. But so far, this looks pretty similar to what we saw in Kespa. We look at the other game. Target ban. Mbessa's now banned. A Darius Jungle? Ooh, we got our first Victor. So we got a Victor. Varus. So this is true that, okay, I can't remember when, but Rise did get some buffs, and, like, he can be good if done correctly. We still see, again, more Renata being, like, banned out. Braum again. Rel. Darius Jungle. Maokai top? Maokai top. Xin Zhao top? What the fuck? That's kind of weird. Darius Jungle again. Huh? Is this right? Wait. Wait. No, this can't be fucking right. This has to be a Maokai Jungle, and this has to be a Darius top. No? And then this has to be... But this looks so weird. This can't be right, can it? Like, surely this is switched, right? Or is this, like, a thing for them? Whatever. I guess we're just gonna have to believe that it's true. I mean, Aurora is being, like, permabanned. So, like, that's one thing to note. Aurora is being permabanned. Mbessa is receiving bans. We have target bans of Zoe. At least I assume they're target bans. They banned all mid lanes against WE. And WE in this tournament was what? Karis? Huh. So he's a fresh player. So they were just, like, targeting a fresh player. Okay. So you see Skarner high priority, right? So let's put that down right away. I think this is pretty simple. Mbessa, we noticing Corki already. Rumble also is like up there. Like, we can already put Rumble here. We see another Victor being slammed in the 2-3 with another Maokai. Maokai top. So they're playing. So maybe, so, like, because, like, in Kespa, actually I should put it here. There was a Maokai top kind of popping up in Kespa. So I'm kind of curious if in Demacia that's the same thing. Jin, Raul. I mean, so we are seeing Kalista bans, but also, like, Ashe ban, Ashe first pick, Ashe ban, Ashe ban, Ashe first pick but not banned. Victor banned now. Varus, Yone, Seju. Nautilus. And then, so we're also seeing the CP that we saw at Worlds, Galio. Ashe is like super high priority. Like it's like really high priority on Ashe. Which, I mean, if anyone remembers how LPL went, like Light Ashe was just fucking crazy good. It was, yeah, it makes sense. We're also seeing a lot of Varus bans coming out, so we probably could put it here for now. There's been a few Kalista notes, but not a lot. Victor is looking like up there after like the first day, second game. It looks like Victor is taking on more interest. Unless this was all in one day. And Bessa is there, but she's not like the top lane. The top laners are not like all in yet. Like there's not like high priority for top laners. Okay, this Maokai is like definitely popping up way more. Way more. It does seem like Sejuani is up here too. D2. So we got a fresh set of players. We got some big boys here. PLG Jr. Nice. Still see Ashe. Now we have a Rumble high priority. See a bit more Cassante. Still see the Ashe being banned. Udyr! Ooh, we got some Udyr bans. Ooh, we got a whole bunch of Udyr bans. Interesting. Ooh, that's interesting. I mean, like I said, when I put it in here, I noted, like, Udyr being a thing here. Just from, like, what I remember, like, playing soloQ, like, it was obnoxious. It was very obnoxious to play against Udyr. He just clears fast. He does his thing. It's annoying. And, like, you know, he's just playing for his clear and neutrals. And if you're playing, like, Azir Corki swaps, makes sense. Azir has not come up too much. I mean, we are seeing I'm seeing more Azir this day, but the other day, not much. It looks like there's less Victor poking out as well. No one took Aurora in the first game. She's let through. Seer. Definitely way more Cassante happening. Jack's also popping out finally in an early pick. Yeah, and Bessa's like, I feel like right now it's like not the highest priority. That's what it looks like. But I just want to know, because like also are these teams like counterpicking their jungler way more often? Not really. Not really. An Ezreal Karma, huh? Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, like, you can play it, but it's not fun into a kill lane. And you're playing a jungler who doesn't want to just level 3, whereas Wukong can play a little bit faster. It doesn't look enjoyable for FPX. Because this is... Yeah, junior roster. Yeah, these guys did pretty good. If they're like... Because which FPX roster was this? That's not bad. But, oh man, actually that is bad. It's fucking Shadow. Shadow sucks as a jungler. No offense. He's just not a good jungler. So now we see a Victor. So I could definitely put Kalista here. I think I've seen enough Kalista pop up that like she's a notable priority. Also, same with Renata, Braum. I'm seeing this more often. I think I'm also seeing a lot more Xin Zhao in their meta. No Warwick, so no one really is touching like the solo queue dominating pick, which is interesting. You know, you probably can mention Silas Yone at this point, because like there is some trading of these characters happening, and I'm glad to see more Victor here, because in Kespa, yeah, they just didn't really play it. But also, the buffs happened on 1424, so I guess that makes sense. And we got a reasonable amount of recon. A reasonable amount of recon. So now we got the last, I think this is the last set, right? There was 4 groups. Never mind. Never mind. 4 groups, guys. 4 groups. We gotta get through this. So, in this group, we see Nautilus priority with a Jin priority. So, like, they wanted to hold their picks, and they took out an Aurelia. Ooh. I mean, I know she got some buffs, but it's not a pick I really play at all. It's not a pick you see too much outside of, like, the people who kind of, like, went out really hard on her. So, I feel like the people who really understand how that works is the mains, no? Like, they know, like, how much they can get out of it, especially because there's a lot of skill expression, and the numbers just look okay. Like, to me, the numbers just look okay. They don't look really that incredible. You see a Trist. So I'm seeing a Kali creep up a bit. I might... Oh, I put low tier for that, but I'm just going to put a Kali here. I'm also seeing some Lilia creep up in the jungle. Oh, you guys can't see this, can you? I'm going to move my thing up so you can see this. Boom. There you go. So... they first pick Mbessa and they take a Rumble answer. Straight shoot into a Seju. Seju is good into Renata. She is. There is no need to take their mid here, technically, because there's such a large pool of picks. They do want to, like, try to find a counter in support. I mean, because, like, yeah, they can definitely take Renata here. If you take Renata yourself, like, if you go, like, Varus Renata, then they'll take Nico, which is not ideal for you. So I guess you kind of do need to hold it. The only thing is, like, I feel like they probably should have taken the Varus. They should have taken, like, their ideal AD and then just drop mid. Because there's going to be enough mid picks open later on. And the support counter pick is what matters the most anyways, for saving sake. That's probably how they screwed this up. Because now you lose these 2 picks. Granted, I don't really think Ezreal's, like, the pick, but you get a Corki. I don't know. Doesn't really seem that ideal. Yeah, so the Rumble priority does hit a little bit. It definitely hits a little bit. The Ahri is not, like... I'll put the Ahri down, but it's not, like, super, super common. Our first Ziggs early pick. Interesting. They took a Renekton into Mbessa. Personally, not my favorite. Also, I should put Vi down here. Vi is seeing way more play. See some more Ahri. Maokai top again. So it's Mbessa. Oh, but it's Mbessa mid with a Maokai top. And this sounds like a terrible comp, by the way. This is just like a really, really fucking bad comp. They're just having fun. But we are seeing some Victor bans. So they first pick Ashe, and then we take Kalista into it, which is not ideal. And then we took a Maokai blind, which they take Cassante, which, yeah, I mean, like, playing Cassante into Maokai sounds fucking amazing. So we're winning draft in 2 ways that RNG counterpick themselves into. And Viego is, like, fine into Wukong, I guess. And then you get counterpicked. Dude, they get counterpicked everywhere. This is actually one of the worst drafts I've seen. So you counterpick your AD. You have counterpick, and you get yourself counterpicked for some odd reason, and you get yourself counterpicked again, and you get yourself counterpicked again. Jesus Christ, did you fucking lose? Wow, that was terrible. So now we have a Renekton versus Mbessa. So right now, Mbessa's like, I'm gonna put like a, ooh, I can't use that because it's like not, I'm gonna put like this here. Because right now, it's not too prevalent, but this is like, the Renekton's not being blinded though. It's like Renekton and Jax right now down here. Yeah, there's a ton of fucking Vi. A ton of Vi. For sure, the blinds that look like it are this. You see some Ezreal and some Jhin, but no Kaisas. No Kaisas have shown up at all because there's not a lot of Ezreals. Okay, day 4. Let's see if this changed. Let's see if after like all this time and watching these other players, if they've actually made adjustments. So they let Aurora through to pick Mbessa mid, which by the way sounds god awful into Aurora. So I'm gonna assume that UP just sucks. They must. They must suck. Ultra Prime. I don't even know who the fuck these players are. I don't know who the players are, so they must suck. And when I say suck, I mean like they must just not be that good for the level. Just saying, they might be good players, they just might not be good for the level as a team. So based on that, yeah, I don't know, because like this does not look good. This is okay. You can play this. It's not ideal, but you can play this. And then you have a Corki bot. So you're flexing. They're flexing this shit, and so that's like where her, I guess I should say this is where her strength comes through. How do I do this? There we go. So Mbessa flex. Oh, so we should do flexes, right? So Mbessa is definitely like Mbessa Corki are being picked more often because they can be flexed. That has to be why. Aurora is not a flex. People are not playing her like a flex. So now we see an Ezreal come up and finally a Gnar. They don't have a bad comp at all. Like seriously, their comp looks perfectly fine. It's a good draft, but they just couldn't win. Still see the Rumble blind. And he gets Skarner. And Skarner is like still like the defining pick over here too. We don't see Azir. I'm gonna put him like here, but like these guys don't care about Azir that much. Like, yeah, he's getting some bans, but like it's not. And there is like a decent, like there's a decent set amount of bans. Probably like half the game he's banned. I might change that. We'll hold off on it though. We get our first Vlad. I don't know, they got a crazy comp. Also, Rel is being picked a lot. Like she's being picked enough that she definitely is not just some CP. Like she's just being picked. Poppy though is a CP. Ooh, we get a Ziggs that 1. Finally. Finally we play a fucking Ziggs. Nocturne, yeah, we have Nocturne as CP. Corki Slam, but they're also playing a bunch of Corki. And it's not like it's again, it's because it's a flex. That's why we're seeing it being just taken. They're just picking it to flex it around. Seen a little bit of more Gnar, a little bit more. Not a lot of Galio LeBlanc. This is like pretty not really prevalent at all. And Alistar is like not at the top. Like he's just a CP. And the Silas, it's probably fine there. So these guys trade their ADs, Ashe and Varus. Wukong blind. To save their picks, I guess. Corki, Rel. You take Leo? Really? You take Leo as your answer? Just go to Alistar. The Alistar is so much better. And then you take Silas, which is like, I guess it's okay. It's like, because Silas is fine, is like a fine pick into Corki for playing's sake. They blind Renekton. I mean, this is the only pick I would change is the Leona. It was an okay draft. Like they actually this team actually drafts okay. Based on what I've seen, they draft okay. Just they must not be good enough. And Bessa. Corki. It's like kind of weird because like I want to put Maokai in here, but it's like, oh, I should put here Maokai. It's like he actually is a flex for them. He is. And then Ashe fell through really far, which I don't really get. But they felt confident that it didn't matter. Oh, they won a game, but they just slammed the Zyra. I mean, it's okay. This is not revealing the most, though. So I only have 2 more sets to look at. Okay. So it looks like it's kind of continuing. I mean, I guess I could say Wukong is in here. Wukong was not really present in jungle here. And so I don't know where people place Wukong because like he is like an okay pick. Like he can kind of, you know, he can farm, he can be a threat in team fights and such. The issue that I've always had with Wukong, at least especially now, because he's such a heavy like auto attack based champion, that all the AD nerfs are kind of suck for him. You know, like they kind of suck. Actually, in theory, you could say the same with Xin Zhao. Though Xin Zhao's lucky enough that he has like 3 enhanced auto attacks plus his W, and then he cycles his abilities a bit faster too. So yeah, I feel like it's not nearly as bad for him. For Nocturne, same thing, but Nocturne, like a lot of it is just based on his R, not how much he pumps. So we still see Udyr. I think Udyr should definitely be moved down as a CP at this point. I think we've seen enough that like, yeah, he can be there, but he's not being picked enough to warrant him to be in the same tier as others. Slam Nico support. Oh, this is an Udyr top. I mean, I can kind of see it, but not as good as I thought. Skarner. Oh, we should stay on the same series just to like see how they adapt. Because Rumble, Skarner are removed every time. And so for this, at this point, I would say like Rumble is like big priority. Big priority. Same with Cassante. Big priority. We're not really seeing a lot out of there. Outside of that, right? Azir slammed Varus Ari, Renekton Viego. They slammed Renekton without giving a shit. They take Gnar. And this tells me then Renekton's priority is going up. And he's not just like, because like they were using him for some CPs, but it looks like his priority is kind of getting more and more. MF probably has a role here at this point. I really don't like just slamming Wukong in a Skarner. Like, it's already not like the most enjoyable pick to verse, and since you have to just like run at him, he's kind of tanky. You're not gonna kill him. He'll kill you actually. Not really a great one. Like, not really a good second pick by them. Like, if you're gonna play against Skarner, you could play Lilia. You could play. I mean, you could just play the Sejuani and just match it and just deal with it that way. But you don't. This has to be top lane. Like, there's no way you're playing Mbessa into Victor. That sounds terrible. So, you already know that you're going to pick a mid, so you ban a mid. You take Sylas. The ultis are not bad, right? The ultis are not bad. But to me, if you have your Wukong and Mbessa as your core, I almost feel like I'd rather take, like, an Azir. Honestly, like I feel like I would prefer taking the Azir, especially if I'm just gonna like land like a Leo at the end. This is a little too overboard, especially because like, yeah, you just don't want to overlap so much like CC where they're gonna run cleanse. Cleanse is high value. Mercs has high value, and then they do a Poppy, and they win. I mean, this is expected. This was like a really bad draft from the second pick, and then you go into the next set. Rumble's still being perma-banned. We see a Corki ban. And Mbessa's up as a flex. Corki's gone. Maokai is up as a flex, I guess. Aurora slammed. Okay, was Aurora banned last time? Yes. So Aurora slammed by BLG. Nico blind. Nico support blind, but they flex it. Nocturne slam. So they do a combo. It's a combo. It's not like... They're almost expecting it's going to be Nico mid. Right? That's what they're expecting. And she can play into Aurora too. So in anticipation of that, they take something that's a little defensive at like dealing with the combo, and then something that will snowball in the fight. And then they do the smolder. And so this is what I've been waiting to see. I'll put an asterisk here though, because it's not like guaranteed per se. Also, no, he still hasn't made his way into being really that chosen. But I'm actually glad to see a smolder come through. Because it's, yeah, like I said, it kind of pumps. And then you have a Rakan Jinx finisher. So they actually slam a Jinx, which is cool. It's our first Jinx, I feel like. Because they do a bunch of range, and Xayah needs to play on the range. Because Sante needs to play like you're receiving into him. So overall, they have a very good comp. So AL did really, really well with this. And then TT versus LNG. So we still see this trade, Varus Ashe. Gallia, I assume it's a Gallia flex when they're taking it here. And blinding Renata, I mean, it's a fine combo, but ideally, like, I feel like you don't want to take Seju because you don't want to overlap into cleanse. You would prefer taking, like, the Vi is not bad. The Vi wouldn't be... Oh, the Vi's banned. Man, and Nocturne. What would fit in here? Is there a mid? Maybe you do a mid blind instead at the 2, based on how the meta is, because there are some mids that you could just blind and be okay with. Granted, they will have an empowered and like Renata slam with like support like bans. You have Seraphine, Nico. There's no other really like ideal support pick into certain things like into Renata. I guess you could play Milio, which is not bad at all. Actually, Milio's pretty lit. But that depends on what if the guy on TT can actually play it or not. I'm just trying to think if you don't have to slam Renata. But whatever. I guess they felt like it was just strong enough. Also, I should put I do have it there. Cool. So you have Wukong Xinjiao banned, Viego slammed, and you already have 3 jungler bans, and they take a Poppy jungle, which is actually pretty lit. I actually like that, just because it's like more frontline. You have pretty ideal. So yeah, it's a Galio top, which makes sense, by the way. In the end, it makes sense that he's top lane. Because I've been waiting to see if people would take her. She did get a buff to jungle. Actually, makes me feel like I should play Poppy jungle in my games. Now that I'm thinking about it. And then we see Nazir. Okay. Seju, Skarner, Kalista, Ezreal, Aurora, Vi. So now they slam a Victor. We get an Akali and a Rakan. It's a pretty good combo. It's a pretty good combo. And also, like, it's a Cassante, like, blind. Is this? Ah, so that's what I've been waiting to see. So that's something to keep note. Because I'm looking at the drafts and I'm like, is this Fearless? Because this kind of looks like Fearless. So that's why like certain priorities like change real quick. That's why we see things like Udyr rise up, which is cool. I mean, it's not like as complete of a. It actually makes me wonder. What was Kespa Cup was not. No. Okay, so Kespa Cup is like what you would take all the time, every time. Theirs is a little different, so the priority is going to shake up quite a bit. That's why we get different picks. Like, they slam a Volibear, which is actually probably fine in the end because it's against Xinjiao. But you normally would not give a shit about that. You pick Ezreal into Vi. Yeah, that's a terrible idea. Terrible idea. And we just take a Maokai. Assume as a flex, but it's just like... Actually, isn't that kind of weird? Because, so, you would... Oh, they do ban Nocturne. Never mind. No one picked Wukong too, right? No, they didn't. Sounds like it would be way better to just take Wukong, though. Wukong banned, Wukong banned. It's a good pick into Vi. I mean, personally, it seems like probably the better option, if anything. I mean, you could even play Kindred down. Oh, they do play Kindred down the line. Because I was thinking to myself, it's Vi. I mean, she goes in. So, like, when she goes in, it's, like, not great. You could play Zyra, too, into it. Zyra's good into it. But having Ezreal really sucks because they have so much latch on from like the first 3 picks that your Ezreal pick's already kind of dead, and you have Maokai, so you can't make up your carry there. So your carry has to be in jungle, and so your jungle mid must win out hard. But they throw in a Gragas who could just lane against the Maokai easily. Yeah, this Maokai thing is kind of weird. I don't know if I really care about this shit. Really don't know if I care about this shit. Okay. I don't have the rest of the games, unfortunately. I don't even know if the other games like even been played. Yeah, they have. So they just don't have them. Okay. So they just don't have them. Based on what I'm looking at for this, this is going to be like my thoughts, okay? These are my thoughts. Increase this a little bit. So these are my thoughts. In the top lane, For sure, Casante's there. Or, like, I should say, Rumble. Hearing some weird stuff out there. That sounds really bad. But I need to finish this video. So Rumble is way at the top. For sure, Rumble's way at the top. Just, it was a good buff to him. He does a lot of damage. And, yeah, he's just very consistent. And Bessa plus Cassante are probably next. Honestly, they probably are. Renekton isn't like exactly super happy playing into Rumble. I know Mbessa can beat Rumble, and Cassante can beat Rumble as well, or can beat Rumble at times as well. But yeah, I think like Renekton probably is like somewhere around here, plus the Jax, because I don't think Jax should just disappear. I just don't think he could. And I think you could probably throw in the Gnar as well, somewhere in this like set. And that's like mostly what we're seeing in top lane. Like we're seeing, like, I don't know if I would really put Maokai in this set. Like, cause like based on what they're showing, this is what like their priority looks like. Like they're like, okay, well, we take these fringe counter picks and none of this lines up in the end. And that's it. That's how they're doing it. For me, what's missing? I still think Warwick is missing. Honestly, low-key, I think Warwick is missing. Like, it's such a good pick that I'm pretty sure it would be incredibly annoying to deal with. And it's a flex, too. It's a flex, right? In jungle, it looks like still Skarner, Sejuani, plus, like, plus the Vi. Then we get, like, Nocturne plus, like, Xin Zhao plus Wukong. And then you get into more fringe stuff like the Nidalee, plus the Lilia, plus the Udyr. That's kind of it. What's missing? Still, Warwick. I feel like this is definitely something that should be, like, more examined. I think Warwick... do I see him fitting? In the top lane pool, there's quite a few banger picks. I don't know, it's just like playing jungle myself. Yeah, it does feel really good to play Graves right now. I personally play Gragas, but Gragas is not like a good pick. I mean, he feels fun. He can be fun. He's not a fast clearing jungler or anything. He does good damage, that's for sure. But no one's really playing it, and I can't really justify other people saying like it'd be good and competitive just because like, oh yeah, because if you look at this, it's like it's a 48% win rate. Like I'm doing pretty good on it, but that doesn't mean like the pick is actually legit. Especially when you look at the win rates, like yeah, it's just like always 48%, and that's because like if you get behind as Gragas, you're so fucking useless. Like yes, you have some good tools, but like you just feel so useless. So Kha'Zix has also felt pretty good. And I think this is a pick that I feel like I'm going to put Kha'Zix here, and it's mostly just because it's a counter pick. I do find that this champion can excel versus a bunch of these like lower tier picks once the top ones are gone. And it's like, why not roll it, you know? In mid lane, so Corki reigns supreme, and that's mostly just because he's a flex right now, so like he has a little bit higher value. And then Aurora is like definitely up there. Then we have like a Azir, and then we have like Victor, because like the thing is when you look at some of these tier lists, they didn't weigh out Azir as much as LCK. But LCK has really, really fucking good mid laners, right? Really solid mid laners. But they play to have like cleaner overall situations. Like it could be the case that it's like literally this. Because if Corki's a thing and the way the jungle picks are right now, Azir should be good. Like he should. He should be good. Then you run into like Ari plus like Silas being like taken up. And I think Yon should still be here because Yon isn't it. If like certain like picks like, well, Yon doesn't really directly destroy Aurora. Might be like this. I'm not 100% sure though. It's kind of weird, but it might be like this. Then Victor, Yon. Then a Galio Akali. I do think there's Smolder's missing. I do think Smolder could be picked more. And there's like the fringe, like fucking Mbessa, which I don't give a shit about at all. This one, it's Ashe, then Varus, then plus Kalista, then it's Ezreal plus like Jhin. And then it's like Corki MF. I'm gonna say plus Kai'Sa because I really don't think it should be like completely removed. I still think there's Ziggs missing. I think there's still Victor bot lane's missing, though. It's a CP. Keep that in mind. It's a CP. I don't think it's something you just blind straight up and just have fun with. But I think it should be somewhere in there. And I think you might see more Jinx. For support, right now, it's like... It's not easy because... It's really not easy. Because like, I feel like it's Nautilus, Renata, Rel, Rakan, Braum, Alisar, Leona. And then there's like Bard, Seraphine, Poppy. Like it looks kind of like this as the landscape. From what we're seeing and based on the nerfs and stuff. And like I said, I don't think Poppy's nearly as OP as it was. I mean, granted, you're playing it for the W and she still does reasonable damage. I mean, I've played against her and yeah, it's pretty fucking obnoxious. Fuck it. I hate it, but I'm gonna put it here. I mean, it is obnoxious. It is for sure obnoxious. But what is missing? Honestly, I do like Milio, man. I really do think Milio's had like some really solid buffs. I think he's also a pretty good pick into what we're seeing. Obviously, people were mostly taking him when you're playing against Maokai jungle. There's less stuff like that in jungle per se, but it's just... I don't know. I feel like Milio is kind of missing a little bit. Other supports, don't really see too much like changing in that sense. So, I would say... Yeah, this is my current set of thoughts based on everything we've watched and seen. It's this stuff here. Let me zoom in more. There you go. So I believe it's this stuff here currently for competitive. Not solo queue, but for competitive. So some ideas like, which I think could be introduced a little bit more in the lanes. For top lane specifically, honestly, I'll probably throw down Ornn too. It's like, I don't know. I do think this pick is a bit better than people think it is. There's only been like a few switches. Like, if you look at Azir, like, yeah, Azir came back, Corki came back. Victor is now kind of coming into the fold, and they're just like kind of added into the already mix of like where the world's meta was, and that's about it. For jungle, it's like extremely similar. There's really no difference. The AP junglers did not really get a lot of help still. There are some picks that probably could be prompt up you know, if they actually look for them, but teams are not really looking for them. And so at least that kind of similar. And then top lane, yeah, we got some introductions with Mbessa. That's about it. I mean, like, you nerfed Camille. Like, if they kept Camille good, Camille and Jax would be, you know, up there, right? Like, it would maybe, like, make things a bit more interesting, because Camille was fucking ridiculous when they buffed her. But they didn't do anything with her, right? Like, they, like, hard nerfed her for some odd reason. Like, really hard nerfed her, like, gutted her. So, like, it, yeah, like, maybe if, like I said, we saw more Warwick, this would actually change things up more, but we didn't. And since they nerfed Stridebreaker, like, certain picks that went that could really snowball with it, yeah, I don't think those are as good. And then naturally, like, Ashe has been, like, at the top for a longest time, and she's still at the top for the longest time. Like, they nerfed Kaisa, so she, like, fell down a bit. Same with Jhin, because of, like, the items and such. So, the only thing that has to happen is this. Like, it's the what's missing that could really make the big difference. Like I said, if Kha'Zix becomes, like, a good known counter pick into, like, these fucking champions, then that will, like, make them rethink these picks and then change your style. I mean, you could even say, I think Ivern got nerfed, but I don't remember if he did, because I feel like he probably was missing a bit in this plan. And that, again, would help shape things out. And in support, yeah, I mean, the Rel nerf, like, they're still picking it. They're still picking Rel, which, she's fine. I mean, she's fine. She's a fine pick. She's just an okay pick. Not crazy, but she's an okay pick. So Renata increases. Nautilus increases. You know, cool. But I don't think a lot's going to change here. Unless, like, again, you want to make things more bloody because of the changes they're trying to make in the preseason or the new season, where we're going to have, like, if you're, like, the bot lane or top lane that's bloodier, has more deaths or whatever, gets, like, the objective, the new objective, and so, like, you're going to play, like, hard focus range supports. Yeah, maybe that becomes more of a thing, but for now, it's kind of, it's not looking so hot. It's not looking so hot, right? I've also seen a fair share of Zeri. I don't know if I would toss Zeri in here, but I've seen a fair share of Zeri. Actually, you know what? Maybe I will throw her in here, because I have seen her a bit, and again, these are, like, good picks with Milio, but, like, no one's doing it. So for now, this is where we are. This is where we are in the competitive meta that we've seen for now. Do I think things are going to change? 100%. Like, for what the preseason changes are going to be, this will change. Things like Draven probably will creep up more. Ashe, Varus, Kalista will still be a thing, 100%, for what they are. Renata, still very prevalent. You know, supports who can actually get the kills, still very prevalent. But, you know, some teams are pretty stubborn at adapting. But we'll keep track. I think jungle has the biggest growth of, like, interesting changes that could happen if people, like, actually play other picks, but they're not doing it. So it is what it is. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been our meta update up to patch 14.24, preparing ourselves for the next season and ensuring I'm not completely dumb when it comes to the new season of competitive, which I will be working in. Thanks for watching, and until next time, see ya.